Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the IKoK, the International Koalition of Krones bi-monthly chat. I'm Essence Katharis, founder and one of the Krones of the IKoK. I want to thank you all for joining us, whether you're joining us this evening live or if you end up joining us in no time, no space, and in watching this chat and participating in its recording. We're so very honored that each and every one of you are here joining us in this most sacred work. I want to take this time to ask the other two Krones to say hello and introduce themselves. Kobaha, would you like to go first this evening?
Good evening, bonsoir for the French and the Québécois. I know we've got a few. My name is Kobaha. I live in Arizona near Sedona. I'm a spiritual facilitator, intuitive, and crystal therapist. I aim to guide people on their spiritual path, providing inspiration and insight from a higher perspective. Now, I'm very excited about tonight, like for any chats we've had, and especially for the journey we're going to do as well. Over to you, Ariane.
Thank you, Kobaha. I'm Ariane. I am from the far north of Queensland, where it is a lovely spring day, and I am a Reiki practitioner. I do access bars, EFT master practitioner, holistic counselor, and meditation therapist. I like to help people who are starting out on their journey so that they have less opportunity of getting lost along the way. And I'm really looking forward to today as well. So thank you. Back to Essence.
Thank you. Thank you, ladies, very much. Yes, we're excited about this. This evening, we are beginning we're setting a baseline, if you will, for a series of chats that we've decided to take on the topic of, we're using the term controlled conscious evolution. What we're speaking about there is the controlled conscious evolution of the consciousness of humanity and all that entails. It's a wide, deep, it's a deep and wide subject, I guess you could say. And there's a lot of aspects to it. And so once we were shown to take this on, we very quickly saw that this would not be something that would be able to be covered in just one chat. We actually, if you want to know the truth, we actually foresee this being a number of chats. I keep getting in my head somewhere between 4 and 7 different chats. So this is something that we're going to be talking about for some time. We may take some breaks during time. Of course, we've got the holiday seasons coming up and it always gets busy. So I'm going to go ahead, I think right here, and take that opportunity to let you all know that because of the holiday season and it being so busy for everyone, just with family and rightfully so, you know, we all need extra time to interact. Been a crazy year, so hopefully there, you know, it might be a little more difficult and different ways of having to interact with the holidays with friends and family like we normally do. So we've decided that for the months of November and December, we will only hold one chat instead of 2 like we normally do. If something comes up, I just want to let you know, though, if something comes up, if the crew, as I call them, send some information and sort of last minute say, oh, hey, by the way, you're going to have to do this, we will create a chat very quickly and send it out. So, you know, continue to watch and pay attention. And I know you all do, you know, stay signed up and all of that so that you get the notifications. But just so that you know, because like I know everyone's kind of setting their calendars and we understand, we hope that everyone will be able to join us for the months of November and December. But let me see if I can get this right. The other two Krones help me if I say it wrong. In November, our chat will be on Friday, November Friday the 13th. And at our regular time. And then in December, it will be Friday, December 11th. Friday 11th, blah, blah, blah. I think why I'm getting those backwards, saying them backwards in my head is because these other two Krones in their heads, their world, months and days come differently. Does that make sense? Okay. So that's just sort of a let you know what we have planned and in store for the rest of this year. I can tell you that the December chat, we have decided it's going to be sort of a retrospect of 2020. We're going to really be looking back over 2020 and where we've been, what we've been through, what it's brought us, what we have been gifted with seeing, even though it may not have seemed like a very good gift, or at least a trick gift, maybe maybe it's one of those. Okay, so with that, I want to go ahead and anything else here, Kabaha or Ariane, that you can think of that we just want to interject here. Okay, as while we're just kind of taking care of business part there before we get started. All right. Well, with that, then let's go ahead and, like always, we're going to come together in a little bit of a meditation, a short meditation, and where share the Metatronic numerology IM keyword phrases of the frequencies that we consider. Excuse me, that hair is bugging me. That we consider associated very strongly with the IKoK. The first one, so if everyone will take a deep breath and just center themselves. Connect our energies into the center of the circle, this etheric circle in which we sit and join and come together for this work. And with the intention of, we are now creating an energy sphere and the parameters of an energy sphere in which we will work and share this evening. The heart of the IKoK, the 2266 dual frequency. I am the master of divine balance. Through the remembrance of the singing of the sacred cosmic song of self, I ignite creation of new realities. I am that which rebalances and heals. The work of the IKoK, the four cornerstones of the work of the IKoK, the 2277 dual frequency. I am the form of the sacred structure of collective reality known through the awakened divine rational mind. I build reality upon the foundation whose cornerstones are honor, integrity, responsibility, and expansion of sacred perspective. I am the master builder of collective galactic realities. In previous chats, I have shared next what we call the star seed IM frequency, but I have been instructed that that is to be replaced, at least for this chat, we will see, with this new message. Let it be said, I, Krone Essence Catheris, and we, the Krones of the IKoK, hold no answers that can be considered 100%. Nothing finalized. What we do hold are perspectives and possibilities. What we share, the information we share, the teachings we share, once shared, become potentials. Thank you all. I want to share this evening, I'll be honest, as we prepared for this chat, this first in this series of chats on the topic of controlled conscious evolution, we got a lot of information, a massive amount of information, to be honest, that was going to be shared in this chat. And then actually, which is not uncommon, it's happened before. As a matter of fact, it seems to be a little more common than uncommon, but this is a rather larger one. We're still going to talk about those things. We're going to set the baseline for this series of chats, just like we talked about. And Krone Kobaha and Krone Ariane have some amazing and wonderful, powerful information to share on what we're setting that baseline. But the information that I was going to share this evening about on this, to start off this topic, okay, this series, has been set aside and will be shared in the next chat. We are setting the baseline this chat because we have been gifted and brought forward an amazing journey in time travel that we're going to take this evening. The vast majority of the time, those of you who join us on a regular basis know that the vast majority of the time, these chats consist of usually about 80% us talking and sharing information, and about 20% of the time spent on the meditation and the journey that we do at the end. This time is going to be a little different. We're approximately 40% of our time is going to be spent sharing information, and about 60% of our time is going to be shared on this amazing journey that we're getting ready to take, and a journey that's very specific for this work, very deep. I'm excited about it. I'll be honest. I'm excited about it. I've been telling the other two Krones about it. I let them know earlier today that these changes had occurred last minute, but I wouldn't even tell them the details of the journey because I did not want to, what's the word I'm looking for here? Mess up their journey. I can't
influence.
Thank you. Influence their journey. That was it. Thank you, Ariane. It's an amazing journey. I myself have already had and taken this journey, but that is because I had to have the journey to receive the information. I do have some information to share, and we're going to share that first. Okay, so with that stated, you all know you can look forward to, I wanted to share that because I want you all to be excited. You should be excited. You're going to love this. As my mother used to say, if I was a betting woman, is what she would say. I'd bet you're going to love it. Okay. Let's see. Let me listen and see how we should do this. I'm going to go ahead and share some information because this is, and then I'm going to turn it over to the other two Krones to share theirs, and then we'll move into the journey. Okay. They did want me to share this. I call this planting seeds. What I have here is, I'm sharing this here at this time simply with the intent of planting the seed of this work, of this thought and possibility. This is something that we'll be discussing in subsequent chats. But they actually wanted, and you all know me when I say they, I'm talking about, I call them my crew, my higher self, spiritual guides, the Q4, all of that, the Intergalactic Governance Board thing. Okay. So what it is we're being asked to pull ourselves out of this timeline. Well, what exactly does that mean? How do we do that? Is it even possible to pull ourselves out of this current timeline? They said, is being asleep, they asked this question, is being asleep and having a dream the same as existing in and being in another timeline? If so, when we awaken, do we pull ourselves out of that timeline? Remember, we're just planting that seed. So take that. If it pops up in your mind between now and whenever we end up discussing it more fully, maybe a reason. Okay, I want to, Ariane Kabaha, anything here other than your main information? I mean, if you hear or feel something, just, speak up, okay? I want to also share now, there was a new frequency that came into our reality system on the 17th of this month. It's the 4488 dual frequency. I'll be talking about that a little bit in just a few minutes and what it brings for us, but it is major, it is big, and it is powerful. Okay, and it's something that we will be working with as a collective for some time to come. We'll feel it weave in and out of our collective reality and how it affects us as time moves and goes on forward, linear time, and our experience in this reality. But with that, okay, within that frequency, a lot of other information, just other than just, okay, hey, we got this new frequency and here's the I am keyword phrase for it. A lot of information came forward with it. That in itself tells us how powerful this frequency is and how much it's going to be a contributing factor in the work that we're going to be doing and need to be doing to, I'm hearing to use the terms rebuild and restructure our global society. Okay. I'll give you the I am keyword phrase in just a little bit. But first of all, I want to talk about some other information. So, okay, before we have our next chat, since we won't be having a chat until the 11th of November, the 13th. Thank you, Ariane. See, the 13th of November. Yeah, I need a keeper. Sorry. All right. I wanted to, so this is the last, but so before we have that chat, some things are going to be coming to a head, okay, and changing and shifting that are very significant. And the first of these things is what I called the 228 days of metamorphic creation. Now, the easiest way for me to get through this quickly is just go ahead and read. Now, also you can go to my website and you can find this, for more detail and all of that. Okay. So related to the 228 days of metamorphic creation, the 777 days of tears, the collective dark night of the soul, this blue moon that's going to be transpiring on October 31st, and the 100 years of work with the double blue moon. All of this I'm going to talk about right here real quick. I wrote here a few days ago, a week or two ago, nothing is set in stone yet. But I said within a few weeks, energies that have been and currently are in play will culminate at a point where choices and decisions made by this collective will begin to coalesce into a state that will form into a collective timeline reality experience that will be extremely difficult to alter within the next decade, meaning the next 10 to 12 and a half years. Now, notice here, I didn't say nothing is set in stone yet. And what I said here was it's going to coalesce. See, this 228 days that began, when did that begin? I have that here. Shared on April 6th. Hang on. My bad. I really thought that I had that right in front of me, and I know I do, just not where I need it in the moment. Okay. 228 days prior to October 31st, it began. Anyway, I'll have the dates. It's all on the website. This wave, this metamorphic creation wave, you can call it, began. And it was during this time I said, you know, to watch very carefully, because reality, things that we think, things that we say, things that we focus on, we're going to manifest very quickly. And it was actually this time that we were to spend in focusing on what reality we want to create. I'm going to go back to reading so we can just get the information more quickly. This is exactly what I and many others who do this type of work have been sharing information about since about mid to late 2019. Related to my sacred work with Metatronic numerology, we have information concerning frequency waves moving through our collective reality experience that show us the first point in linear time where this coalescing will begin. We have been shown that October 31st, 2020 is extremely significant as a first point in this time of coalescing. It is by no coincidence that a blue full moon falls on this date, the date of the end of a period of time that began, here it is, on March 18th, 2020, a period of linear time I call the 228 days of metamorphic creation. What is it about? Okay, I wrote about that. I'm going to scan through here real quick. We'd been shown that the date of October 31st, 2020 is directly related to the date of January 31st, 2018, and a blue full moon on that date. We've been shown that point in linear time is when this collective set up the template for the formation of this virus pandemic we are currently experiencing as a global society. So all the way back in January of 2018. Okay, now did we know it was going to be a virus, a global pandemic virus? No, but we knew subconsciously and energetically we were setting this up. Okay, here's a bit of information as a reminder as to why the January 31st, 2018 blue full moon was so significant. Following is an excerpt that I wrote. Okay, now remember, this was in January of 2018. As most everyone is aware, on January 31st, 2018, Earth will experience a celestial event that's not occurred in the last 150 years. A super blue moon in conjunction with a total lunar eclipse. Now, what some may not be aware of is that this is also a super blue moon that is a part of and begins an event known as a double blue moon. A double blue moon event is when two blue moons occur within the same year. Two blue moons in the same year happen only 3 to 5 times each century. And the January 31st blue moon is the first of 2 blue moons in 2018. The second of these blue moons is this double blue moon. In this double blue moon event will occur, or did occur, on March 31st of 2018. And just for the record, there are only 3 double blue moon events in the 21st century. So 2018 is the first year with a double blue moon. The other 2 years in this century are 2037 and 2094. So you can see that January 31st double blue moon, that was not only a double blue moon, it was a super blue moon, which means it was at its closest point to Earth, okay, on top of it. And there was a total lunar eclipse. Those 2 things hadn't happened for 150 years alone, okay? Well, this double blue moon began 100 years, what I call 100 years of work. And this double blue moon, and the one I'm talking, this double blue moon, the one on the 31st of October. So all blue moons in this century, all right, because blue moons are not extremely rare. They happen every 2 point some odd years, okay? And even double blue moons, as you read, as you heard, happen 3 to 5 times in, years every century. This century happens to be only 3 of them. January 2018 was the first. So that was significant in that it set up the work, okay, if you will, of the century associated with the blue moon energies, all right, that are going to transpire all through this century. And every blue moon that transpires in this century has a woven connection to that one. Okay, it's the start. Well, what was that one about? I'm just going to spit this out simply, okay, so we can move on faster. What was it about? It was about focusing on restructuring governmental systems and corporate systems. Wow, huh? That's exactly also what this blue moon, this 228 days of metamorphic creation, its main focus was about. All right, so that's it in a nutshell. So what's going to happen? Let's move through it fast. If you want all the detailed information, you can go back to previous chats where we've talked about it, or you can go to my website, and I'll try to remember to get links up in a few days, maybe put them on the YouTube video, the links to articles where you can find all this information if you want the detailed information about it. Okay. So what happened? So what was it? April, what did I say? March 18th of 2020, we began the 228 days of metamorphic creation. All right. Those 228 days were really about paying very close attention to what we wanted to restructure and have our global society restructure into, especially for the next decade, the next 10 to 12 and a half years. All right. Looking through here. Okay. So here we are. Then everything, remember, we've got the 777 days of tears, as we call it, which is directly related to the 17.8 ATKI and the collective dark night of the soul that's currently going on. All of this is still in focus. All of this is still going on. Nothing's going away at this point. We just keep adding layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of work. That's where we're at. Okay. Step up, folks. I'm going to be nice and just leave it at step up, folks. Okay. October 31st, that double blue moon. I've explained that, what it's all about. Okay. Why it's so powerful. It ends that 228 days and begins to coalesce. So right there at that point, okay, at the same time, we end that 228 days of metamorphic creation. We begin another phase of collective breath work that we're doing. What happens is we are finishing an out breath, a collective out breath, if you will, okay, on October 31st with this metamorphic creation days ending. And we are beginning an 11-day period through the 11th of November, through the 11/11/20, okay? And entering what is known as the brain cramp again. Well, the pause in the breath. We're entering the pause in the breath for 11 days until like right there at the 11th, 12th, because I mean, nothing is like, oh yeah, check your clock. Okay. These are all dates and times that, that give us a way of looking at this, that we can see and work with it more clearly and see how the energies are moving and weaving, if you will, across the planet. All right. So there around the 11th, what's going to transpire is this pause in the breath, this of collective breath work is going to finalize, and we are going to begin the next in breath. Okay, that's why the in breath is your yang energy. It is your action movement, your creation. That's why the coalescing is going to begin of what is going to become our collective reality for the next 10 to 12 and a half years. And remember, it's not going to be set in stone, immovable, but once it's coalesced, it's going to be much more difficult to change. Focus. Okay. So especially from here on, but especially, I would have to say in those, say 11 days from 11, 12 days from October 31st through November 11th, stay focused. Stay focused on not only what you want to create and you want your reality to look like, your individual reality I'm talking about for the next decade, but also the collective's reality for the next decade. Okay. Now, on top of that, related to this 4488 dual frequency, we have on October 16th, running from October 16th, 2020 through February 22nd, 2021, we have entered into another frequency wave coming through. Okay, remember, nothing's going away. We're adding layer. We're adding layer. Now, don't see this as so hard we can't handle it. It's just simply not true. But especially knowing what's going on and understanding gives us a little more insight and ability to focus our conscious. Remember, that's what this is about. Controlled conscious evolution. We have to step up and take on the responsibility and do this work consciously. That's what this is all about. All right. We've entered into this time from October 16th, February 22nd, 2021, a time I'm calling a time of mirroring and reflection. I've written a little bit about this. I'll read it quickly. Okay. This is a time where there is an emphasis on looking very closely at self, our relationships with each other and the collective, and our relationship with ourself. Don't forget that part. Sometimes we forget that part. Especially through the filters of the beliefs we hold and how those beliefs guide and direct our actions and interactions. That's a key word there, interactions within the world and reality. We are being led to look at how we, as the individual we are, influences the determination of the beliefs. Now listen to this closely, because this gets a little bit, what did she say? Because even the first time when I heard them telling me this, I was like, what did you say? All right, so listen closely. We are being led to look at how we, as the individuals we are, influences the determination of the beliefs others choose and how they react and interact within the collective reality based on the mirror we hold up for them to see their self and ultimately their reflection of self. Example, how is it, or how may it be, that the beliefs we hold and the reflections we send forth for others to see is or can play into creating anger, frustration, even violence they are acting out, and in how they interact with the collective reality? In other words, are we, the individuals we are, in any way feeding and fueling anger and violent behaviors others are exhibiting because of the beliefs we hold and act on? I'm not suggesting for a moment that we're responsible for the behavior of others, except in the interaction of energy exchange, especially subconscious energy exchanges between us and the collective as a whole. Now, we'll be looking at that closer in subsequent chats related to this controlled conscious evolution. Okay. I have one more thing, and this is the 4488 dual, unless something comes up that I want to share. And that way I'll have this kind of out of the way, because I see this more as kind of the business end of the chat, and then we'll get moving forward. Okay. And this is the 4488 dual frequency. Now, remember, I told you this frequency came in on October 17th. Wow. I will tell you, even the journey that we're going to take this evening is related to this frequency, is a part of the information that came through with this frequency. Okay. I myself got a lot of personal information, and I got information related to Metatronic numerology on this. Okay. So here it is. So if everyone, you know how we work with the I am keyword phrases, because they're energy shares. So if you just center yourself and listen closely and allow just the energy wave created by the words to wash over you. This is the 4488 dual frequency. I am the power of structured metamorphosis known to the collective self. I am all possibility. I am all potential. I am the master consciousness initiated. Through the knowledge of sacred geometry, I access the guidance of the divine mind and engineer the form of reality into manifest existence. Using the new calculation process that was shown to me with the retrieval of this frequency I am keyword phrase, was shown we can see, this is the message, the information I wrote, we can see the encoded message, the secret silent message, is that the 3, 6, and 9 spoken of by Nikola Tesla, those messages he spoke of that show us that the secrets of understanding the workings of our universe lie hidden in the 3, 6, and 9 energy, vibration, and frequency. What I was shown was vibration is a sum and a product of energy and frequency. Here is the message I heard. When you take energy and apply any frequency, you create a vibration. The particular frequency you apply to energy determines the vibration you create. Meaning, the energy is raw material. It is the clay to be molded. The frequency is the sound, the intent, the pressure you apply to the energy clay to determine how you mold it and what it is molded into. The vibration is the field you create through this process, and the field is the template upon which you build. The template is the base information of the blueprint of the reality or type of reality that can and will be built or made manifest. Here in our collective reality experience, we are the energy, the frequency, and the vibration. We are the clay, the raw material, the physicalness. We are the sculptor, exerting the pressure, the singer releasing the sound, the cosmic artist that focuses the intent and determines the shape of the template upon which our reality is made manifest. No pressure there, huh? Yeah, no pressure there. With that, I want to now Kvaha, I would like to turn this over to you first, if I remember correctly, first of all. But I'm going to ask that you go ahead and pull a card first before you share your information. You need to unmute first. Okay. She's got, I know.
Okay, so I'm going to use The Work Your Light by Rebecca Campbell's. Okay, let's see. I'm curious. Right there. Oh, wow. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Beautiful card as well. If some of you saw my video this week where I pulled 3 tarot cards, remember the tower was there? Well, I didn't remember in that deck you've got something similar. It's called the crumbling. Look at those colors. And the question on the card, I mean, so connected to what actually Essence just mentioned. The crumbling. What are you clinging on to? How amazing is that, right?
Yeah.
About stepping up, letting go of the old that no longer serves us, and is very much about taking conscious control of, you know, the spiritual and physical evolution of humanity. That's part of that process. We need to go through that crumbling in order to get to that beautiful place. Look at that, the lush. I mean, I know on the screen I can't see the colors, but we've got all sort of colors like purple, red, yellow. I love that. The thunder there. Well, what can I say? Yeah. So much related to what we're going to talk about. I mean, especially today, we're going to concentrate on conscious evolution and communication. Yeah, we can ask that question. What are we clinging on to? How do we communicate generally in the world with others as well? That's what I'm getting. But overall, yeah, it's about to let go of the old. Yeah, and step up. Yeah.
That letting go and stepping up right now.
Yeah.
And it has been. And actually, in all honesty, they started in preparing for this particular chat, you know, days ago. Information coming around just the way I work and everything. Even as far back as 2013, but especially 2014, we began being put on notice, pushed forward more and more, more and more, more and more. Okay, like over and over, like, hey, come on, stepping up, taking on more responsibility, more conscious control, there's no other way to say it, of creating our own reality. Exactly what we had said we were ready to do and willing to do and able to do in 1987 at Harmonic Convergence. So yeah, that's where we are. You know, this is all related even to the 17-8 ATKI, which is this collective dark night of the soul that we're in is related to and created by. So, okay, Kvaha, please.
So, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, conscious evolution starts with communication. I'm sure you have all noticed that collectively, we have been called to go within for the past few months. With many of the normal distractions and busyness of day-to-day life suddenly stripped away, combined with the surge of fear and uncertainty around health, This has triggered some of us to go within to find our personal truth. Humanity has entered a collective dark night of the soul. By collectively facing all that's been hidden in the shadows and buried beneath the surface of the conscious mind, we begin to question the deeper meaning of life and why we are really here. Wherever we go from here, whatever we experience as reality, we go together and we are 100% responsible for creating it. This is about taking conscious control of the spiritual and physical evolution of humanity. Are we ready to universally reach out? A deeper understanding of our existence and life is beneficial in taking this step. I have chosen the word deeper to suggest that we should go consciously inward. This inner journey could initiate a true shift in our perspective. Conscious evolution starts with communication. The collective consciousness of humanity can't evolve until there is proper communication in a respectful way. We are responsible on building the foundation of a balanced communication. We communicate not only with our words, but also with our movement and energy. A slight shift in our body language can convey a new message. And our energy, how we are being, can create subtle ripples of influence that are intuitively received by others, and that impact the tone of our words. We become conscious communicators when we are aware of our words, body language, and energy in every interaction. Aware means being present to and curious about how we express ourselves and the impact we are having both on individuals and the whole. We take greater responsibility in our relationships by owning our part in any conflict and celebrating new milestones of joy and success. During these unprecedented times, some of us are running high on adrenaline. The hostile nature of our discourse has many of us in a state of high reactivity. We are worn out by the emotional tension we feel as a result of polarized conversations. Yet driven by our own fears, we continue to argue for our point of view. And without communication, we can't develop or maintain authentic relationships, which are necessary if we hope to create a new reality that works for the collective consciousness of humanity. Conscious communication offers us another approach. It begins with the assumptions that everyone deserves to be treated respectfully because they are part of our human family. Regardless of whether we agree with their ideas or not, we can recognize that, like us, they've had a certain set of experiences that influence how they see the world. Their perspective is what forms their opinions. Allowance should come naturally. It is about creating unity through diversity. Humans are scared to lose their identity as individuals. They have a fear and find it difficult to unify. Diversity is the strongest tool we have in creating unity in a realm of duality. It is positive and essential because it provides with a variety of perspectives, which in turn are helpful in the development of all the individuals, society, country, nation, and the world at large. Unity consciousness is the ability of having a civil discourse while living side by side. When we see someone as a person and not an opponent, it's easier to wonder how they arrive at their opinions and beliefs. Instead of saying to ourselves with indignation, how could they think that way? we can ask with a sincere desire to understand, how did they come to think that way? When we set aside our agenda of trying to change everyone and approach them with a curious mind and open heart, we are practicing conscious communication. It is, of course, important to show conviction, to be courageous and strong. By doing so, we are more in tune with our purpose. We stand in our power and speak our truth. But at the same time, we, as star seeds, hold space as gentle, non-judgmental, and supportive presence. We need to pull back, trust, and respect the boundaries and processes of others. Are you standing in your power because you believe in something or because you want to argue? Are you standing in your power for the sake of your ego? Are you standing in your power for the benefit of your well-being or for a short-term popularity? In order to stand in our power, we have to respect other people's power. Listen to others. Respect them and their boundaries. Don't knock other people down to knock yourself up. This is only a temporary fix. Take a quiet moment, think, and contemplate before responding to something. Your power is a patient force. It doesn't require you to act immediately. Sometimes courage is a quiet voice inside, not a roar. We listen to people who speak kindly and with compassion. We don't often listen to people who speak harshly, critically, and negatively. Standing in our power in a quiet, confident, and compassionate way. Thich Nhat Hanh said, true happiness and true power lie in understanding yourself, accepting yourself, having confidence in yourself. Our personal power comes from within when we accept our full being, when we let all of who we are show up and communicate with a sense of wholeness, when we dare to be our full selves, even if we are confronted with people who disagree with us. Standing in our power doesn't mean being rigid or closed off. It means listening to others and trying to understand where they are coming from. We can be at the same time empathetic and stand in our power. Humans have the ability of being conscious participants in the evolution of consciousness. It is about taking the responsibility of creating it. We need to intentionally cultivate a range of behaviors and values which make us more adaptable as individuals and therefore more likely to survive as a species. Understanding the evolution of consciousness provides the scaffolding to help human individuals and groups do so as well. Through our conscious choices right now, we have the power to help evolution on its way towards the creation of the new reality for the collective consciousness of humanity. This is about more than just surviving. It's about thriving. It's about telling a story that can provide meaning and purpose for human existence, which can lift us out of the present darkness and unite us. Conscious evolution starts with communication. When we set aside our agenda of trying to change everyone and allow people to express their point of view and respect their difference of opinion, we are practicing conscious communication. Thank you.
Thank you. Wonderful share, wonderful information. It took me back several different things, connected for me. One of the last ones there was the question about the the time of the mirroring and reflection that we're in now, and how our beliefs, because it is about our interactions with each other, you know, it's very much centered there, and being continuously conscious and controlling the level of consciousness. I don't know if that's the best way to say that in the moment that we are interacting with others at. And that means more than just, to me, that means more than just hearing the words and interacting there. Okay. It actually means, to me, being conscious and controlling the consciousness in the interactions that I have with others, means not only hearing the words and being able to politely, you know, and polite does not mean weakness, first of all. You know, that's, yeah, one of those things needs to be said for somebody somewhere. But at the same time that we are focusing on interaction and consciously communicating with our words, our actions, and our energies, just like you spoke of, really pay attention, okay, folks? Especially, there's, you know, with all these energy waves and points and that we've got going on that are weaving themselves together right now, you know, it's more important sometimes than others? I'm going to say yes, simply in the way that the energies are weaving in some of them, but especially with this time of mirroring and reflection, it is extremely important, because that's the one that asks us, are we somehow, some way feeding and fueling anger, frustration, and even violence because of the beliefs we hold? Now think about it, because what I'm telling you, when they first told me that, and I'm looking at that, I'm like, what are you really saying here? Okay. And that was a lot of things, but one of the things that jumped out, and I'm feeling pushed to share right here, is we look, and we are positive people. We try very hard. We're very conscious about it, but we all have beliefs. We all have this human perspective. Okay. And are we with the beliefs that we hold, even though we think, oh, we're so positive and we're so this and we're so that, and all we're doing is putting positive energy into, is there something in the way that we are holding the beliefs? Remember, this mirroring and reflection time is not just about with others and with the collective. It's about with self too. Really, this is a time to really take a hard look at self. There you go. Okay. They couldn't see it, Kobaha. She was holding up the, yeah.
I want to show.
Yeah.
It's part of that crumbling. You look in the mirror and you ask yourself, what are you clinging on to? Mm-hmm. What no longer serves you? Yeah. Right. And it's not easy. It's not easy. I agree.
Mm-mm. Yeah. No, it's not easy to really take a hard, truthful, honest look at self, but it is absolutely necessary. And it's always absolutely necessary, but I'm going to say it's even more so right now with where this collective currently is, and it's going to become ever more so important. Honestly, I'm hearing at least through September of 2022, when the collective dark night of the soul peaks at the end of the 777 days of tears. Okay. With that stated, anything else there, Ariane, or excuse me, Kobaha or Ariane, is there anything that you want to say associated with what Kobaha shared? If not, go ahead.
I think what I want to say is associated with that is with the message I'll be giving shortly. It sort of brings everything together beautifully, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Well, then why don't you just go ahead and do that now? You ready?
That sounds like a plan. Okay. So Kobaha and Essence have both talked about conscious evolution begins with communication. and our interactions with each other. And that's basically what I'm talking about here. For me, words are the things that contain the power. Power that's beyond anything that you might realize, at least not without thinking deeply about the words that you use and the words that others use around you, how they affect you and how they affect those others that you speak with or to. And there, straight away, there is a good example of what I mean. I said others that you speak with or to. Have a think about it. When you bump into someone and have a chat, and then you mention that chat to another person, or you're just reviewing it in your mind later on, how do you describe that conversation? I could say, I spoke with Essence today, or I could say, I spoke to Essence today. Have a think of the difference that is made by that tiny, often unthinking choice of words. You may not even have noticed the difference. When I speak with Essence, we're talking pretty much on an equal footing. We're engaging each other in conversation. In this scenario, when I speak to Essence, I'd not only be taking control of the conversation, I'd be taking energy away from her, because there's an inference that I'm talking down to her in some way, diminishing her. Of course, I'd never considered myself in any way superior to Essence, but that diminishing of self of the person you were talking to is a big potential for harm. Think about it. If one of your co-workers was speaking to you in this manner, always talking to you and not with you, it wouldn't take you very long before you felt disempowered. And if it kept on, you'd end up feeling fearful, bullied. That whole belief that we are actually spreading through our words, fear and anger. You'd lose a joy in your work if that sort of thing went on for any length of time. Now, I must say that context also plays a big role in this. For example, Essence does talk to me occasionally. She's my teacher. And occasionally she kicks my butt when I get too big for my britches or I'm being particularly dense about something. And she does this because I asked her to. I asked her to hold me back for whenever I wander off the track, teacher to student. It's not a power play. It's a lesson that's given respectfully. I know the context and the energy of the conversation, and I'm not being disempowered in any way. With Essence, it's quite the opposite. She doesn't cause me energetic harm with the words she uses. And this is what I want to talk about. I've been living in a situation where the words that a neighbour uses has caused me energetic harm. It's not been done on purpose. Nothing at all was meant to diminish me or even make me feel uncomfortable. But after several months, I reached the point where my energy was seeping out of me like someone had turned on the tap. I was being drained. Now, don't get me wrong, my neighbour is a lovely person, a great person who would give everything that she has to help another person in need. She doesn't have much herself, but I've seen her in action. She's a good person. She's not on the conscious spiritual path, but she lives the best life she can, except for her speech. She's naturally a very vocal person, and I'm not. Loud noises are a trigger for my PTSD, and she has a super loud voice. She spends a lot of time on a balcony, on the phone to various friends, and I can't help but hear her private conversations, and I don't want to. But that loud voice carries as clear as if she's standing right next to me, so I constantly feel as if I'm intruding. And it's not just the volume of her voice, it's the cadence. She sounds angry even when she's not. The cadence as if she's arguing with someone or being defensive. And every second word, probably with very little realization, every second word she speaks begin with an F. So have I said something to her about it? Have I communicated with how I feel about this? Well, not really, not in plain language, because she has the right to be who she is. I'm the one that's sensitive to loud noise. I'm the one that doesn't want to hear another person's life laid out for everyone to listen to. I'm the one who feels battered because of the loud noise, the constant swearing, and I'm the one who reads into her syntax and cadence the energy of anger and discord. She is just a person who communicates in a certain way and doesn't realize that from my perspective, it feels like I'm being bludgeoned. Now, the reason I'm sharing this is because I wanted to highlight how we can have an effect on others with our words, with our speech, with our actions, without even realizing it, simply by the way that we use the power of our voice and the words we use. And words, as we all know, carry energy. Yep, I know this is a bit of a soapbox issue for me. I've written about it in my blog. Way back in June, I spoke here on the IKoK chat about it, given a few lectures about how you can personally shoot yourself in the foot with the words that you use. But each time I have been talking about you, the individual, about how your language use affects you and your energy. And I don't think I've ever spoken on how your language use and the way you communicate can affect others. But right now, that's what I'd like you to think about, exactly that. We live in a world that depends upon communication. And as anyone who's aware of the energy of such things will know, the vast majority of that communication at the moment is fear-based. And right now, when it's become so tricky to know if what you're being told is true or not, it becomes even more essential to be discerning about who you're talking with or to and who you listen to. And making it even harder is the fact that so much misinformation carries a basis of truth, but a truth that's been twisted, embroidered, expanded until it bears little resemblance to the initial truth. That kernel of truth running through that misleads good-hearted people into falling down the rabbit hole into anger and fear and despair. This is the communication of the collective consciousness of humanity that we are dealing with. This is the communication style that has brought us to such a low point in this reality. We talk, we use words, and we communicate about coming together as one, as working for the benefit of all. And we use words and syntax and cadence that can sometimes say something entirely different. The microcosm, my neighbour, a good soul who works to aid people, yet still unknowingly causes energetic harm. The macrocosm, Facebook, news media. Maybe the person you bumped into the street sharing gossip, and possibly, probably, you or me. So what can we do about it? Well, previously I've shared information about what to do so that your speech doesn't affect your energy. And really, this is pretty much the same, but with a focus on how your speech patterns affects others. I'd recommend first listening to yourself. Record yourself on your phone and see what comes up. I've done that a lot recently. Do you talk with others or do you talk to others? Do you encourage conversation that brings everyone in on an even level? Do you listen respectfully when someone says something you disagree with, pretty much as Kobaha was saying? Or do you try to show them that your knowledge is better? Do you interrupt a lot? This is mirror work that we must all do. And not just once, it's an ongoing process. Clear communication is the base work of the conscious evolution of humanity. And I've been doing this mirror work, and I've discovered that some of my habits could be construed as annoying to others. I have a tendency to laugh in phone conversations. But by doing this mirror work, by listening to myself, I've realized that laughter is something I started to do many years ago to cover up my fears. It happens with any conversation I have with any person, and it happens because a valuable form of information is being removed from me. Basically, I can't read face and body expressions. And that's something I learned as a very small child, to be able to work out if the situation is fearful or not. Yet sometimes the laughter is because something's funny, and sometimes it's because there's a wow thing going on. But sometimes it's just intrusive. And it's now something I can work on. I can do that mirror work on self with the intention of bringing a new level of open communication with everyone around me. I'm a single thread in the weaving of the collective consciousness of humanity. And if I can improve my communication skills by being aware of the effect on others of my word choices and the way I deliver my message, I can have an effect on all other threads in that weaving. If we can each learn to communicate and interact with each other in a way that's more considered, more respectful, and less likely to cause energetic harm unknowingly or knowingly, we will be taking a step forward on the road of the controlled conscious evolution of our collective. Thank you. Back to essence.
Thank you, Ariane. Beautiful message, wonderful information. As I was listening here right at the, I was hearing, let me see if I can pull it back. Need just a moment, please. Oh, what I'm hearing to share is related to Ariane's beautiful message. When we work on self in this way, when we become more conscious of how we speak and interact with ourselves, with others, and with the collective as a whole, it actually has the, I'm hearing to use the word side effect of empowering us. We begin to feel stronger and more confident in standing in our own power. And we begin to feel, I'm actually hearing independent. And when we feel independent, then we can, I'm going to use the words and the terms I'm hearing them say, we can unweave and knot the threads of ego that are flowing incorrectly through our energy field that cause the energetic problems and issues. And that is what they're speaking of when they're asking us to look at self and say, are the beliefs that you hold and the way that you interact in any way, even though your overall belief system is positive, okay, and in service to the collective, if this is woven improperly, that feeds the fear, the anger, the frustration. Go ahead, Ariane.
One of the things that I initially had in that message that I took out, it is a personal thing, when I looked into that mirror, using laughter, that laughter that I use, I didn't expect to find very much other than the fact that I tried to flip a negative into a positive all the time, and that had been part of that. But what I found was that laughter was a way of covering up fear initially.
Right.
When I was a child and I lived in fear and I didn't know, and I had to read people's body language as, I'm going to say, a matter of survival. It wasn't really survival, but it felt that way.
Right.
And so there was a lot of fear attached to that. And that laughter was the way of my overcoming that fear, of giving myself strength. And by doing this mirror work, I have come to the realization that that was the child.
Right.
And I'm no longer that child. So I have empowered myself by doing that mirror work, of being able to see where it came from. And yeah, I'll probably have to do a fair bit more work on it. And yeah, I'll probably annoy everybody with laughing for a while longer. But I know where it comes from. And now I can start to bring myself into a better balanced position with regards to that. And it was really empowering to do that work. Very empowering. Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Okay. Kabaha or Ariane, anything else right here before we go ahead and refocus for our journey?
I was going to do my animal message, but I think that can go on a separate video. It's rather long as well.
Yeah, I honestly, I forgot all about that, but
that's cool. That's, okay. That's cool. That's no problems. We'll do that separately.
Yeah, well, we'll do them. We'll share it separately, but we will connect them in the links on YouTube. Okay. With
Yeah.
this. Okay. All right. Honestly, I forgot all about that because, you know, our our good intentions were still. Yeah, we talk. Yeah, what can I say? We talk. All right. If everyone would now, I'll tell you, and I'll be honest, this journey is a little longer than most that we take. It's going to be, I'm going to use the words intense, deep, amazing, and wonderful. But I also, with that, want everyone to know this woven into this journey is the message. You have to be responsible for yourself. Okay. So when we come back, we will help everyone get back. Once we finish this, this journey and meditation, I'm speaking right now. So if anyone needs to do a restroom run or anything like that, because I know we've been on for a while, then go right ahead and do that before we get started. And, so that they're comfortable, because if the physical body is not comfortable, it will affect the journey. So with that, let's see. I'm going to give just a couple more minutes. I'm going to look and see. There was something else. Let me see if I find it real quick. I'll share it while we're looking at. I don't want to get in too deep into anything else. I'll tell you what, does anyone have a question about any of the information that we've shared this evening that they would like to ask, or any comment that they would like to make? This would be a good time for that, unless I'm the only one left. Everyone has left to take care of some type of personal business. All right, well, doesn't look like anyone. I'm checking. I don't see anyone in the typing here. I'm still checking my notes. There was something else, but you know, I have so many notes here. There was so much information that was originally going to be shared in this, that I was originally going to share in this chat. But like I said, it got set to the side. It will be a part. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry about that loud noise. That probably sounded really bad against that microphone. In the next chat. So once again, in case you've forgotten, we will have only one chat in November. That will be on November, Friday the 13th at our regular time, and one chat in December. That will be on December, Friday the 11th at our regular time. Unless if something pops up and they want us to do sort of last minute, if there is, be sure and continue to watch. Okay. With that stated, I would like for everyone to get comfortable. Let's see. There, that's a little better for me. The lighting always makes a difference in the journeys. So if everyone will get comfortable and bring themselves into center, we are going to begin this time travel journey. Please take a deep breath. Bring yourself to center. Relax the body. And once again, I'm really going to suggest you get into a physically comfortable position, but not one so comfortable that you might fall asleep. I would like for everyone to know this is your journey. I can open the door for you, but you must step through it. I can show you the path and lead you, but you must walk it. I can take you to the place where you can find answers you seek, but you must listen and interact. I can be your teacher, your guide, and your friend, but you must do your work on yourself. So very long ago, on this journey through time and space, you began outside of self, outside of the knowing of self, unawakened to the knowledge of who and what you really are, going about your life, feeling your way through the dark, seeking for some guidance, some answer as to why you are here and what it all means. Suddenly, one day, far in the distance of your mind, within your inner vision, deep into the field of darkness and uncertainty, you saw a faint spark of light. It appeared only for a second, but that was enough, for you had seen it. With uncertainty and doubt still filling your heart and mind, you turned and faced the direction in which that momentary spark of light had appeared, and you took that first step toward what you hoped would be answers to questions that have plagued you your entire life. You trek forward, ever marching towards and walking into the direction in which you know you saw that momentary spark of light. You will not be swayed, for finding that short glimmer of light, once seen, has now become your sacred pilgrimage. It is your only hope, and you move ever onward in faith, somehow knowing deep within, beyond doubt, the answers you seek do indeed exist, and now lie within your grasp if you will but not give up. You trek on. Time passes. At points you feel yourself full of doubt, wondering if you did indeed see that glimmer of light. You even at times doubt your own sanity. Then one day, just as suddenly as it did before, that momentary spark of light appears once again. But this time it is different. This time it is closer, larger, brighter. And after its explosion into existence out of nothingness, it fades once again. But this time it leaves behind a faint shadow image of its light. And now, even though it is faint, you now have a beacon, a focal point to guide you onward in your sacred pilgrimage. With that, you continue your trek toward the answers you seek with less doubt, more determination. Your heart full of joy and your mind filled with renewed awe, wonder, and curiosity. The very manna you need to sustain you for what is to come, that you will encounter from this point forward on your sacred pilgrimage through time and space. It is this, that faint shadow left behind by the momentary spark of light you saw so long ago, that has brought you here to this point where we now take this portion of this journey of time travel together. Here in this now, let it be known and said, I am independence birthed when truth is illumined through the light of spiritual revelation. I am Avatar. I am independence personified. Boldly I step into my full potential. And now our journey begins. I'd like for you to focus your attention deep into the dark field of nothingness. And there, far in the distance, once again, the spark of light. This time, it is there. You hold it in your vision. This time, there is no losing its sight. You begin moving closer. And closer. You move across the deep expanse of nothingness. As you grow closer, it grows larger in your vision, and closer and even larger, until eventually you are close enough that you can see this is a crystal ball, a crystal sphere, and it comes into form in distant view. You continue moving closer, for there you can feel lie your answers. There is what you have been seeking. Continue to move closer until you stand before, so close you can reach out and touch this giant crystal ball, this giant crystal sphere, one so huge it is as tall as a skyscraper. It is a sphere, you know it is, for you saw it as you approached. But it is so large now, you are so close, that you cannot see its parameters. It is crystal clear, yet you cannot clearly define anything about it. As you stand there before it, suddenly, from seemingly out of nothingness in the crystal ball, ornate double doors begin to appear before your vision, directly in front of you. These doors are massive. They are at least 4 stories tall and half as wide. I'd like for you to watch and look at these doors. Notice, do you see any symbols or designs or images that you can make out? As you stand there, amazed and in awe at these magnificent ornate doors, they begin to slowly open inward. And the energy begins to flow out from within this giant crystal ball. You can feel the energy and the power contained within it. And the amazement at the energy that it takes even to open these doors. As you stand there and the doors open to full wide, take in the energy, feel it. You hear the words. From where, you know not. I am independent and brave. I am first cause. I'm going to ask that you now take one step across the threshold and through the doors and stand just on the other side of the doors that have opened into this, allowing you entrance into this giant crystal ball. You now hear, and you know from not where, I am truth illumined through spiritual revelation. I am all potentiality. I ask that you now take 4 steps in, directly in. I am form and service. Please turn to your left and take 4 steps forward. I am love's responsibility. Take 4 more steps forward. I am intelligence seeking self. Now instruct you to turn to your right and take 2 steps forward. I am the knowledge of sacred geometry and divine engineering. Please take 8 steps forward. I am structured power and metamorphosis. You now realize that you have moved deeper into the crystal ball, reality and universe. And where you now stand, if you look to your right, you see that you are directly in line with the doors in which you entered. I would like you to now look to your left. Take in notes of whatever you may see or experience or feel or hear or smell. In any way, experience. Please take 8 steps forward. I am the illuminated truth of spiritual responsibility, and I radiate this truth for all to behold. Please turn left. And when you do, you find yourself standing at the bottom of a crystal staircase directly in front of you. Please take 11 steps up the staircase to the top. I am truth and divine intelligence illumined through the spiritually awakened self. As you find yourself now at the top of the staircase, crystal, remember, everything is crystal. You find yourself on the next floor, the next dimension up. You can see in all directions, and the area is vast. It is so expansive that the vast majority of it is out of your line of vision, and it just simply becomes darker the further away. Everything here appears like a hologram, real, but you can see through it. Please take a few moments to simply look in every direction and experience whatever presents itself in this holographic form. I ask that you now turn to your right. Please take 7 steps forward. I am the ancient temple of the self fully known. In this knowing, the knowledge of sacred geometry and divine engineering for use in the creation of realities is unlocked. At this point where you now stand, you realize everything here only exists as a potential. And it is not until you touch it, meaning interact with it in a conscious and purposefully intentional way, that it solidifies into physicality and becomes real, a part of your real physical reality experience. As you reach out to touch a potential, a crystal table appears before you with 2 chairs, one on either side of the table facing each other. Please take a seat in the chair on your side of the table and wait patiently. Please lay your hands upon the table. And as you do, someone walks up to the table from out of the area of darkness and quietly takes a seat across the table from you. You both silently greet and acknowledge each other. With this silent greeting, you realize the person across the table from you is you from a different dimension and time. You smile and acknowledge this, and when you do, telepathic communication begins between you and you. You hear the words telepathically. We have brought you here at this time to give you information. Please listen to this information you are here to receive. Know that you can telepathically ask questions, but only at specific and appropriate points in the conversation. This conversation is now completed. Please acknowledge and give gratitude to you. As the you from the distant time travel dimension rises from the table. There's acknowledgement. Please rise from the table. Turn and take 7 steps forward. Turn left. Come down the stairs 11 steps. Turn right. Take 8 steps forward. Take 8 steps forward. Turn left. Take 2 steps. Turn left. Take 4 steps. Take 4 steps. Turn right. Take 4 steps. Here you find yourself standing still inside the crystal ball universe, but at the doors in which you entered, at the front door. Take 1 more step and step out through the doors, across the threshold, back into the nothingness. You may turn and look and watch as the doors to the crystal ball universe close ever slowly. Please turn and begin your journey back to the here and now, across the great expanse of nothingness in the field of all potentiality, bringing with you in conscious form any and all information that is beneficial to you in your present and current physical reality experience. As you begin making your way back, please begin returning to your physical form. Begin by slowly moving your fingers and toes, shifting the body slightly, finding your way back into your physical form. I'm going to give the other 2 Krones a few moments to come back. They want to, so they can share just a bit of their journey. I'm going to use this time while they share to allow everyone to continue coming back. I know this was quite a journey. I want to state here that when we finish, we will end in silence like we normally do. We will have our after chat for those who joined us live, if you care to stay on and participate in that. But I also want to let any and all know who join us and participate in this journey in no time and no space, that we understand that this is a really in-depth journey, and that if you have any questions or feel you require any assistance, please feel free to contact us by messaging us on our Facebook page, or even message in the comments on YouTube if you feel that's what you would like to do. After the Krones share their bit of information, we will end the recording of this chat. Thank you, everyone. This has been a true honor. Now, ladies, which of you would like to share first? Okay, Ariane.
I'll go first because I know my memory, it tends to blank fairly quickly. That was amazing. Thank you. Thank you. A couple of years ago, I met a being that stepped out of a Vesica Pisces, and this was the being that I met today. I have wondered since that initial first meeting what the connection is. As we traveled towards that glimpse of light, I could feel a really strong pull in the high heart chakra, like really, really strong. And as we got nearer, that crystal was green gold, beautiful. And that high heart chakra, as the doors opened, that strong, really strong pull just settled down into a beautiful, peaceful energy that just, it was amazing. It was really amazing. And as we moved through the directions, the maze, different chakras, that energy moved through the different chakras. I observed within myself, when I go deep and make deep connections, or there is something of intense importance, my hands sort of dance. It's really, really, really slow motion. And I'm aware of it, but I can't do anything. I don't want to do anything to stop it. And I noticed that as I entered in, might even have been before I entered into that crystal ball, that my hands had started their slow motion dance. And I can actually feel them burning and tingling, and the energy in there at this moment. I need to go and put my hands in grass at this moment. I need to go and stick them in the soil somewhere. But I don't always know. I'm usually working with energy in a physical way in this dance of the hands in some manner, and I didn't know where it was going. But as I started to step forward, I saw within the crystal, I saw the Vesica Pisces. And from that, I realized it had actually been wrapped around that whole spirit, that whole crystal ball. But again, that's where Farubi stepped out of, into coming to visit me at that table. And he answered my questions. I now know my connection to him, obviously. I know some questions that had answered there, and I'm not going into right now, but it brought me a sense of peace, a sense of questions answered, basically, which was absolutely beautiful. And during that conversation, the hands and the energy gathered came back into my high heart. And I've just been flooded with the most joyous energy. It's just, it really is. I'm wanting to cry from a different emotion to normal. But, it was beautiful. The journey back through that maze, I knew each step before you actually mentioned it. I knew where I was going, which gave me a little bit, oh, hey, yeah, okay, I know this maze. I know this crystal. I know where it is. I know what it is. I know how it enters into my life. I know these things. And thank you. That's all I can say. I've got a lot to dwell on and to think about with that. And now I can come back to this recording when I forget this message, as I no doubt. Thank
that's
you.
a bonus. Yeah, thank you. That was amazing. Thank you for sharing that. We very much appreciate that.
It was
Kabaha.
huge.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I was actually tearful during the actual meditation. I mean, okay, I'm going to go through, and I don't mind. I'm going to share the message I got. Oh my God, I've got shivers all over me now. It's going to be emotional, but what a beautiful message. First of all, what I've noticed when I was facing the doors, there were actually messages, signs on the actual door. So that was telling me almost, yeah, the message I was getting from there was, you're on the right path. That's what I was getting from it. Like Orion, the energy mainly for me was around the high heart. That's why I felt it the strongest. The other chakra where I got kind of pressure was on my crown, and it's when I started asking questions. Okay. And the question I asked, it was almost like reassurance, asking, am I doing a good job? Where I'm at the moment, you know? And I had to take notes immediately because I had keywords. Oh God, I'm getting emotional now. Sorry. Okay. First thing I had, and I smiled because that's so me, stop overthinking. So I started laughing within me. I started laughing. I'm thinking, yeah, I know. Stop overthinking. Then I was showing north. So I knew it was like, keep facing your true north. Then I had a message about sharing my voice. Share your voice. And then I heard, and that makes sense in some ways. I heard, come out of your inner portal. Okay, just come out. But where I started, I could feel the tears coming out actually. I heard the word training and lifetime. So I heard, basically what I heard was, you've been trained for this lifetime. You can do it. Okay. And it's interesting, when I took the steps back towards the doors, I saw myself physically getting taller in size. Okay. And when I was finally facing the doors to come out, I was represented like a pillar of light. And the energy I felt there was just unbelievable, quite amazing. So that's the strong, that's what I felt, and the messages I got today.
That's
It's just, but seriously, stop overthinking. In my head, I'm thinking, yeah, I know. But it's beautiful, because come a point at the moment in my life, I'm coming to a crossroad where I know it's not even a choice. I know I'm going to work more and more towards getting to higher wisdom and higher knowledge. But it can be scary in some ways, because I know myself, I can be quite self-critical. Can I do it? Etc. So the question I asked was very much about the situation I'm in now. And here I am. That's the messages of confirming, don't you worry, you've been trained to do the work. You're there. But that image of me coming out like a pillar of light, it was like, oh, okay. And I think it was a way of showing me think about it. Your energy, you're in that body at the moment, in this life. But remember, you are energy. You are powerful. And it was such a great reminder. So thank you, Essence. I mean, that was, I don't know what to say, amazing. Quite emotional, different emotions. So sometimes I wanted to laugh, especially about the overthinking bit. But all the rest, it was like, wow. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. I want to, once again, so I think we have, one of the reasons I had asked the other two Krones to share their experience before we ended the recording part of this was so that for those who do join us in No Time and No Space that don't have opportunity to participate in the after chat, if they care to, they as you all can feel, it brings the energy back into this reality. It helps us come back into this reality. So with that stated, we're going to go ahead and finish the recording of this chat and go straight into our after chat, where any of you that are here with us live this evening can share and participate and ask questions if they would like to. And we would love to hear your experience with this journey if you are of a mind to share it. So with that stated, I want to thank everyone for joining us this evening on this chat. We look forward to the next chat. As always, a lot will be coming up. A lot will be coming up in the next few months and even next few years. With that stated, we're going to end, as always, on a sound of silence. So if everyone will simply bring themselves to center once again and energetically, consciously, and intentionally connect with everyone, whether live, no time, no space, everyone who participates in this sacred work. We are family, we are one. We are a consciously and intentionally created group, collective, conscious mind in service to the collective consciousness of humanity and to the universal one heart and mind. I'm Essence Catheris. On behalf of myself and the other two Krones, Krone Kobaha and Krone Ariane Lay, we thank you for joining us. Kara unche anapa'u nagian. I am the ancient future transitioning immortal. Kara unche prana. I am the ancient future breath of life. Kara unche prana. Kara unche prana. Kara unche prana. Kara unche prana.